Hi, Stuart Bruce here, and I am the Spare Time Property Investor. In these podcasts, I'm going to share tips, tricks, and lessons that I've learned and will hopefully help you, especially if you're still working the 9 to 5. So, just on my way to work on a Sunday. It's very nice and sunny, but I'm going to be in an office all day. But that's okay. I don't mind. But I thought I would do a quick episode in my car to make the most of the time that I'm spent travelling, for one thing. But also because I'm preparing for, I've got a mentor, which I'm very excited about. But I want to get a few episodes up and done, prepared to publish over the coming weeks. So I have the most time possible to focus on the mentoring. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about controlling your money. Now, I was brought up in households with just my mum, and my kind of money education from her, which is nothing against her, because we're not taught about money in school, are we? And we're not encouraged to learn about it as we go through our lives either. But it was all about spending it, basically. Spend it, enjoy it, and kind of have a day job, that sort of thing. So it took me quite a while to unlearn that. But also, when I was a kid, I did save money, and I saved money so I could buy musical equipment, drums and stuff like that. So I've always been a saver, but a saver to spend money on my passion at the time. So it didn't really get me anywhere financially. So when I realised I really need to get my finances under control, I had to really unlearn a lot of those bad habits that I'd built up over the years. I'd gotten into a bit of debt, nothing too extraordinary, and I was used to living quite frugally, which is fine. But I lived quite frugally because I was doing other things most of the time. I was doing gigs and whatever, and so I didn't have the opportunity to make a lot of money. So then when I got a proper job and started earning a little bit more money, a bit more of a regular income, I realised then that I needed to do something. So I started learning about money. So I read books like Richest Man in Babylon, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and Think and Grow Rich, all of those kind of self-development books and money books. And gradually the penny dropped, and I started to get better with money. So we bought a house, we did it up, we sold it, we bought another house, did it up, and pulled some money out of that to start investing in property. And all this time I was learning about property. But my real breakthrough for financial management, I can't remember who it was now, but in a podcast somebody said about keeping track of their spending. And I'd read this a couple of times in Rich Dad Poor Dad, I'm sure, and the follow-up to Rich Dad Poor Dad, the Cash Flow Quadrant, I think it's called, which is a great book. I actually prefer it to Rich Dad Poor Dad in terms of really applicable advice that he has in that book. And so I set up a spreadsheet, which is on my phone, and I know exactly what's coming in and out of our accounts. And that was really good, and it gave us clarity. Around the same time, myself and my wife combined our kind of current accounts. So we had a joint account, and instead of just spending money and keeping some money aside for the bills, we had the account for all of our bills and things like that, and then just gave ourselves some spending money, which was a real game changer. That was a real big one, actually. So combining our accounts, so joint accounts, and giving ourselves spending money rather than only putting in money into an account for the bills, that was a great one, and tracking our spending, fantastic. But then later I started, quite recently, I have started tracking our net assets. Now, this again was a bit of a game changer. So this is putting all of our debts, including mortgage and things like that, putting all of our debts and all of our assets onto a spreadsheet. Again, it's on Google Sheets, which is accessible on my mobile, so I can always check it, and that gives us a bigger kind of picture of where we're heading. Using that, I can see the small amount of debt that we have plummeting and the assets that we have growing, and it allows you to track it over a longer period of time, because sometimes when you're paying off things, once it's paid off, you can't see where you've gone, if you know what I mean, because it's gone. That credit card, whatever, you don't need to worry about anymore, so you don't have that reference anymore to show how well you've done. So it's a really, really good tool to show not only what you're aiming for, but also a bit of encouragement to show you have made some progress. So they are really powerful tools. So joint account, so you and then only paying yourself some money for spending money, tracking your spending and tracking your net assets and tracking your net assets. They are honestly real game changers. Now, the other thing is profit and loss. So on your investment properties, you need to keep tabs on profit and loss. So what's coming in, what's going out, and keeping a track of that. And if things start dropping off and you're not making a profit, or the profit's reducing, you need to deal with it. And being able to see that really allows you to think to yourself, there's an issue here that I need to look into more deeply. I mean, in our last HMO that we converted, we took a little bit of a punt on the boiler. We thought the boiler looked okay, and that would probably last for a little bit longer. So we thought let's just leave that for the time being. But then a few months after setting it up, the boiler started. The pressure kept on dropping, and there was an issue with one of the components in the boiler, which it just made more sense to replace it, especially as it's summer. If we replace it now in the summer, it saves us from having real problems as we get into the winter. So we thought let's just do that. But being able to track the call-out costs of getting a plumber and things like that highlighted that there was an issue. So then you can kind of deal with that. Your attention's drawn to it, so you can do something about it. So all of these things really helped me change my management of property. All of these things really helped me change my management of money. The other side of the coin is your attitude to money. So when I was younger, we had no money. Absolutely, we had things cut off, like the phone and stuff like that. And I remember one winter I had a broken window for the whole winter, in my bedroom, because we just didn't have the money to replace it. And I smashed it accidentally, and I suffered the consequences. And so we had no money. So it was really difficult for me to think, well, what does it look like to have money? Because when I first started earning, like, say, 25, 30 grand, I felt like I had a lot of money. But you soon realise that's not a lot of money. And it's a real mindset shift. Your attitude to money really dictates how you manage it. So you have to have a good attitude to money. You have to have an abundancy rather than scarcity mentality to money. It's everywhere. There's more money now than ever. I think some people say it's like everybody on your. I think there's a saying about the entire population of the planet Earth could be a millionaire, so who's got your money? You know, that sort of thing. And it's a bit cheesy, but there's some truth in that. There's a nugget of truth in there, that there is tons and tons of money. So if you accept that, and you know that it's abundant, you know that it's within your power to go and get some. So it took me a while to get my head around that, and also different ways of doing it. So I kind of thought when I was younger that you either became somebody like, I don't know, like Michael Jordan or something like that, an absolute amazing sports star, or you became a famous actor or musician, or you were born into money, or you were some sort of doctor or something like that. I kind of thought those are the people who had money, but it's not. There's loads of different ways to get money, and property is one of them. There's lots of different ways, but property is one that I love property, so it makes sense for me to go into property. And yeah, so the mindset is a really, really powerful thing. And if you've got a bad mindset, you know, money is the root of all evil, for instance, or, you know, money goes to money. I remember being told that time and time again when I was a kid. Again, nothing, you know, not being negative about my family, but money goes to money was like a bit of a mantra, because they didn't have money, and you kind of, people, if you haven't put the effort in and spent the time learning about it, that's probably a reasonable thing to conclude, that money does go to money, and it does to an extent, but there is other ways to get it. So yeah, money mindset is a massively powerful thing, and they should teach it in school. I tell you what, just getting to my job.
Hello, can I help?
Hi, I'm here for COVID duty.
Yes, her name, please.
It's Bruce.
Yeah, come on, Bruce.
Lovely, thank you. So that was me just getting into our car park. As I said, I'm on duty for the COVID-19 response in my area, so social care, so all exciting stuff, and hopefully there won't be any dramas today. Anyway, I'll leave you to it. Yeah, I hope that was helpful, and I hope the quality of this was good enough, because I'll be doing more of these to make the most of my time. Okay, cheers. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please leave me a 5-star review to help other people find it, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.